holiest city in Islam, has been swarmed by a catastrophic plague of locusts during the holy month of Ramadan.
Imagine stepping into the sacred Kaaba in Mecca, only to find it swarmed by thousands of insects. A natural occurrence or a sign from above? This unusual event has sparked a whirlwind of discussions. Could this be a reminder of our planet's fragile ecology, or is it a deeper spiritual message? Let's unravel this mystery together, blending science with faith and exploring what such extraordinary events mean for our understanding of the world and beyond. In a remarkable and unforeseen event, the sacred site of the Kaaba in Mecca, revered as the holiest location in Islam, became the epicenter of a massive insect invasion. This unusual occurrence took place shortly after Saudi Arabia had eased its coronavirus restrictions.
Under the shadow of COVID-19, Islam's greatest pilgrimage is almost unrecognizable for the second year in a row,
which had been rigorously enforced for several months. The Kaaba, a site of immense spiritual significance where millions of Muslims turn towards in prayer each day, found itself enveloped in swarms of insects. Witnesses described a scene of awe and confusion as countless insects, later identified primarily as black grasshoppers, descended upon the Grand Mosque, enveloping the area in a buzzing shroud, the lifting of coronavirus restrictions in Saudi Arabia prior to the event. This incident coincided with a significant moment for Saudi Arabia and its citizens. The country had just lifted many of its stringent COVID-19 restrictions, a decision met with relief and enthusiasm. Mosques throughout the nation, including the Grand Mosque in Mecca, had been operating under strict health protocols to curb the spread of the virus. As these restrictions eased, more worshippers were able to return to these sacred spaces, only to encounter the extraordinary sight of the insect invasion. The event quickly captured the attention of people around the world, sparking intense discussions across various social media platforms. For many Muslims, this was not just an ecological anomaly, it was an event laden with spiritual and religious connotations. The images and videos of the swarming insects at the Kaaba went viral, leading to a plethora of interpretations and debates. While some viewed it as a mere natural occurrence, others saw deeper religious or spiritual significance in the event, linking it to various religious texts and prophecies. The widespread reaction on social media highlighted the diverse perspectives within the Muslim community and beyond, illustrating how a singular event can be interpreted through numerous cultural, religious, and scientific lenses. The Kaaba, located in the city of Mecca, Saudi Arabia, is not only a physical structure, but a symbol deeply entrenched in the Islamic faith. Its significance transcends its physical form. It represents the metaphysical center of the Muslim world. Muslims around the globe face the Kaaba during their 5 daily prayers, a practice that unifies the faithful across diverse cultures and geographies into a single ummah, or community. According to Islamic tradition, the history of the Kaaba is as ancient as humanity itself. Islamic teachings hold that the Kaaba was originally built by Adam, the first prophet. However, its reconstruction is attributed to Abraham, Ibrahim in Arabic, and his son Ishmael, Ismail, marking it as a site of monotheistic worship long before the advent of Islam. This narrative aligns with the Islamic view of Abraham as a patriarch and prophet, reaffirming the deep connections between Islam, Christianity, and Judaism. For Muslims, the Kaaba is more than a historical monument. It is the focal point of the Hajj pilgrimage, one of the 5 pillars of Islam. Every year, millions of Muslims from around the world journey to Mecca to perform the Hajj, circumambulating the Kaaba in a ritual that symbolizes unity, equality, and submission to the will of Allah. This pilgrimage is a demonstration of the Islamic principles of brotherhood and solidarity, as pilgrims of all nationalities and backgrounds gather in a single act of worship. The Kaaba's black silk covering, known as the kiswa, adorned with verses from the Quran, adds to its spiritual aura. The structure, while simple in form, a cube, is rich in symbolism, representing the timeless nature of faith and the unchanging message of monotheism. The sudden invasion of insects at the Kaaba was initially met with bewilderment. The creatures swarming the holy site were primarily identified as black grasshoppers. However, there were varied opinions on the exact species, with some suggesting they were cockroaches or crickets. This uncertainty added to the intrigue and concern surrounding the event, as different insect species can have varying environmental and ecological implications. The sight of these insects swarming the sacred site of the Kaaba evoked a range of emotions among worshippers and observers. Many expressed worry and shock, as this was an unprecedented event in a place of immense religious significance. The concerns were not only about the immediate inconvenience and potential damage caused by the insects, but also about the deeper meaning of such an occurrence at this revered site. Questions arose about the possible reasons behind this phenomenon and what it could signify in a religious context. The debate about the nature of the insect invasion was multifaceted. On one hand, some people consider it a natural phenomenon, possibly linked to environmental changes or seasonal patterns. On the other hand, many viewed it through a religious lens, pondering whether it was a divine sign or warning. This dichotomy between scientific explanation and spiritual interpretation is a recurring theme in human responses to natural occurrences, especially when they happen in places of religious importance. The event at the Kaaba was no exception, as it sparked discussions and analyses from both scientific and religious perspectives. In the context of the insect invasion at the Kaaba, the symbolism of locusts in the Bible garnered significant attention. In the Judeo-Christian tradition, locusts are often seen as harbingers of divine wrath and destruction. The most notable reference is the plague of locusts in the book of Exodus, where God sends a devastating swarm of locusts as one of the 10 plagues upon Egypt for Pharaoh's refusal to release the Israelites. This event is emblematic of divine retribution and a reminder of God's power. In Islamic theology, while the Quran does not specifically use locusts as symbols of divine punishment in the same way as the Bible, there is a rich tradition of interpreting natural phenomena as signs from God. The Quran and Hadiths, sayings of the Prophet Muhammad, emphasize the importance of reflecting on natural occurrences as reminders of God's omnipotence and the transient nature of life. In this context, the appearance of locusts at the Kaaba could be interpreted by some as a reminder or a test of faith, though interpretations vary widely among Islamic scholars. The insect invasion at the Kaaba also brought to light certain hadiths attributed to Prophet Muhammad. One such hadith prophesies a transformation of the Arabian landscape with increased greenery and water bodies, hinting at environmental changes. This has been linked by some to the recent locust invasions, suggesting a connection between prophetic sayings and contemporary environmental shifts. The scientific community primarily attributes the unusual swarming of locusts at the Kaaba to environmental and climatic factors. Recent patterns in climate change have led to unusual weather conditions, including increased rainfall in the Arabian Peninsula and parts of Eastern Africa. This change has resulted in more abundant vegetation, which provides ideal breeding grounds for locusts. As a result, locust populations, which are highly dependent on weather conditions for their growth and migration patterns, have experienced a significant increase. The surge in vegetation across the Arabian Peninsula, fueled by unseasonal rainfall, has led to an explosion in the locust population. Locusts, which are typically found in desert areas, thrive in conditions where there is an abundance of food. The increased vegetation acts as a catalyst for their breeding, leading to larger swarms that can travel great distances in search of food. In the case of the Kaaba in Mecca, the convergence of several factors likely contributed to the infestation. The high lighting in the area, along with favorable temperature and humidity conditions, might have attracted the locusts to this specific location. These factors, combined with the overall increase in locust populations in the region, culminated in the rare and startling phenomenon witnessed at one of Islam's most sacred sites. The insect invasion at the Kaaba prompted a wide range of interpretations, reflecting the diverse perspectives within the Muslim community and beyond. For some, the event was seen strictly as a natural phenomenon, a consequence of environmental changes with no religious or spiritual significance. Others, however, viewed the swarm of locusts as a symbolic occurrence, potentially a divine message or a sign of introspection and spiritual awakening. This dichotomy between natural and supernatural interpretations of the event highlights a broader conversation within religious communities about the relationship between faith and science. Those favoring a scientific explanation point to the tangible evidence of climate change and environmental factors leading to the swarm. In contrast, those leaning towards a spiritual interpretation often refer to religious texts and prophecies, considering the event as a reminder of divine presence and power. The timing of the locust invasion, coinciding with the holy month of Ramadan, added another layer of significance for many believers. Ramadan is a time of deep spiritual reflection, fasting, and prayer for Muslims. The appearance of the locusts during this period prompted some to contemplate the spiritual lessons that could be drawn from this event, seeing it as an opportunity to deepen their faith and commitment to religious teachings. The unexpected insect invasion at the Kaaba, Islam's most sacred site. So that's all for this video. Hit that subscribe button for more updates.